Good morning and welcome to another Walking with Darren. And today you join me on a lovely morning here in beautiful Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And what am I doing here? Well, today's our travel day. We go home today. I've been out here for most of the past week for the IAFP Annual Conference or Symposium, and that's the Institute of Advanced Financial Planners in Canada. So I've never been to this particular conference before. I've been invited, so I thought I'd attend and be with some of the peers, many of whom I haven't seen since before COVID. And this is really a chance for the leading most advanced financial planners in Canada to kind of come together and talk about new ideas and work we've done and changes that are going on out there. So I think it's really important we always stay plugged in with what's happening. And it's been nice to visit with some of the people. Also nice to visit Edmonton, having never been here before. And you know all those poems and beautiful things they say about how gorgeous Edmonton is? Me neither. So, but I actually am kind of teasing. It is a lovely city. My friend Tage, who's the branch manager for our Edmonton office, he picked me up and took me out for a nice dinner and a little bit of a tour of Edmonton last night, his hometown. So it is actually quite a charming place, despite the parking lot. Anyway, wanted to share with you some of the things that we covered that I'll be taking back to Ryan and Carolina that I thought were kind of impactful and important that we talk about. So we had a historical review of inflation and labor and markets. I had to write a little list down because there's quite a lot. We had an interesting presentation on the impact of AI, so artificial intelligence, on Canada's productivity and labor markets. We had a kind of depressing conversation, but very important chat about advanced serious illness planning, which is something that unfortunately we have as a team, have to be very good at this to support you and your family, as inevitably someone you love or even yourself is going to go through something. So we have to improve our skills and our capabilities there all the time. We had an update on mortgage insurance corporations in the Canadian rental market. We're advanced users of some of those strategies, so it was nice to hear from some other people in that space and get other perspectives and other opinions on what's happening. So that was helpful, especially after all the interest rate changes we've seen this year, which have really upset the apple cart for so many wonderful long-term investments, particularly places where they're interest rate sensitive. And in the short term, that move of interest rates has been very disruptive. And Christian and I have talked about that, and we'll continue to talk about what's the impact of that been on markets and how it's been challenging in the short term, but the opportunities it creates in the longer term are really powerful. So we have to take advantage of that. We had a great presentation from my friend Peter Bowen at Fidelity Investments on the tax changes we've seen in 2023, some around the changes to AMT, which were designed to close some tax loopholes, but there really aren't any loopholes, so they really mostly affected how much charities are going to be able to receive. So if you wanted to make a sizable charitable donation, you better get it done before the end of 2023. So I know we've already talked to some of you about doing that. If any of you are thinking about it and we haven't had a chat, we need to do it really soon. But the other big one was the First Home Savings Account. We've talked a bit about that. I'm going to do a video on it because there were a couple of little tips and tricks to it that Peter took us through that I didn't know. And it's interesting because that plan, frankly, could have just been everything they wanted to do with that could have been accomplished just by tweaking the existing RSP home buyers plan. But hey, that doesn't get any fun press for the politicians, so they've decided to create this other one. But there are a couple of interesting little wrinkles with it that we'll share with you. So I'll shoot a special video just on that. We also had a fun one for me that was all about how to manage a team with both Gen X and Gen Y members. And that's definitely us. So I being the Gen X guy in the team and everybody else being Gen Y, I guess making everybody watch reruns of MASH and WKRP is not what I need to do. Although I will confess to you that when I discovered that my team, most of them thought that Tom Selleck was the guy who had a guest role on Friends. It might be a bit of a culture exchange we're going to have to do there, get them warmed up on exactly who really matters in media. Anyway, so that was interesting as we kind of work on our communication strategies with each other. And there's other content that we covered. There's things about how to take optimal income out of corporations. A lot of geeky stuff. Again, I know Ryan and Carolina will love what I take back to share with them. And kind of fun to hang out with these guys. And of course, I think the reason they picked Edmonton is because they're planners and we got it on a budget. So it's all good. Anyway, with that, I got to go back in, got to get my bags and get to the airport and get home and be back with all of you. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Talk to you soon.